Hey everyone, my name is Dmitry Mikhailov, and originally I'm from Russian Federation, or Russia as you know it. And I guess it's gonna be my official video number 1, and it's starting at 4 a.m. in Middleburg, Florida. The reason why I'm starting it here, it's just happened to be that I'm actually right now at one of the houses we've been fixing, and it's right here. It's a small mobile home on a 1.5 acres of land. I hope you kind of see it. And we've been working on it for 1 day now. It's rental property, which, well, it's a rental property which we've been renting. I've been renting for the last probably 5 years, 6 years, and I'm supposed to stay here for about 3 days with the crew, so you could fix it and put it on the market. Today is May 2nd, and again it's 4:16 a.m. I'm actually right now on the way to Atlanta, Georgia, and this is where I live. And the reason why I left so early today and unexpectedly is because my wife just happened to deliver my second baby, which is a boy, and his name is Timothy. And she delivered him unexpectedly yesterday while I was away. Just happened that she woke up in the morning and called me, "Hey, I am giving birth today, surprise." And she was officially due on the 20th of May, so I was thinking I had some time to go to this trip to Jacksonville, Florida. But no, that's what it is. So she delivered fine. Our friends helped us out with being with her while I was away.
Turn right.
And so now I have 5.5 hours of driving back home, so I can pick her up from the hospital. And this is where I guess my story begins. I'm filming it right now on my Samsung Note 5 phone camera, and I hope you can see me well and hear me well. I know it's shaking because actually I'm driving right now on unpaved road. Again, it's early and it's fresh here. Not cold, but fresh. I'm gonna be out from this neighborhood in a minute, but right now you can see what kind of road it is. It's pretty cool, kind of private area with mobile homes.
Turn right. County Highway 218.
Each mobile home here is on at least 1.5 acres of land, some up to 5-6 acres of land, which is pretty cool area. And again, I had this mobile home for some time now.
County Highway 218 for 8.6 miles.
I bought it when the recession started I think in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. And I bought it actually as subject to existing financing. If you know anything about real estate, you might heard about this term. Well, that's how I bought it, and it means that somebody else owns the mortgage but I'm official owner of the property and the land itself, and I just took over the payments for this mortgage. Anyway, before anything, I want to tell my story of how I end up here in the United States and how it's been for me for the last about 15 years before I can get to basically now. So it's gonna be maybe somewhat long video, and it might be boring for some of you, and I apologize in advance, but I hope some of you gonna find it interesting, and if I'm gonna be able to continue, which I hope so. Maybe at one point I'm gonna improve with equipment and improve with everything else. The reason why I want to start this, I would say, what do you call it, blog, is I think I have a lot of interesting stuff going on, and I want to just share it with you guys. Maybe there is a first person who is watching it right now, so I welcome you. And again, my hopes that somebody gonna find it interesting. Maybe somebody gonna find some good ideas from what I do. As of right now, I build escape rooms, and I operate 2 locations myself. And I also build escape rooms, and we sell puzzles and sell turnkey escape rooms around the country. I also have some rental properties, which, I rent. And now I have a wife and 2 kids as of less than 24 hours. So, which is pretty cool and exciting. Yeah, so my story. I came here to the United States in 2003. So today is 2018. Yeah, it's exactly 15 years now. I came without knowing any English. Well, I knew a few words like hi, bye, mother, father from school. But I quickly realized that I really have no idea of the language. Basically, without any practice, you cannot actually understand any language. Even the words which you're supposed to know, you don't really know, because your brain just doesn't pick it up. It cannot hear the words. It's kind of funny the way it works, but your brain has to adjust to kind of understand and realize the words which you even supposed to know, but still your brain don't pick them up. So I didn't know any language, and I came with exactly $300 in my pocket. You might ask me why I came to the United States, and it's kind of interesting story with me. I always wanted to, and it's just kind of funny how it happened. My parents supported me, so they actually paid for my ticket to United States, and I came as an exchange student. There is a program, Work and Travel, and many of actually foreigners come to United States by using this program, and I was one of them. So you basically come for summer, usually to work in the United States. You find a job in advance. There is a lot of agencies who help you with that. So that's how I came. Originally, I supposed to work actually in somewhere in Maine. So my original job offer was from Maine, but I had relatives of the relatives living somewhere in Florida, which was Jacksonville, and my parents somehow found them and asked if they will be able to help me to find a job and to get started somehow in the States. And so they said yes, that's fine, we'll help. And they helped me to when I moved. So they helped me originally with housing, and then they helped me with my first job. And my first job was construction worker as doing stucco. So I was basically a helper in the Russian crew who was doing a stucco. And at that time it was like construction was booming and construction was going on like crazy. So we've been busy like crazy. Basically we were working day and night, and we were working hard. I was a helper, and I was working there. It was super hard, especially I was 20 when I moved, by the way, and it was for the student who never worked before. Like almost, I didn't really like worked so much in the past because I was studying, and literally I was working just last maybe 5-6 months before I moved to the States. So that was very harsh environment, especially working stucco. As a helper, you have to use a mixer and you have to fill up you have to move 5 gallons pails with a finished product, and so on and so on. It's like brutal. And at some point of time, by carrying 2 5-gallon buckets at a time all day long, at some point of time, like maybe 3 or 4 months later, I actually hurt my back really bad. It's like cracked while I was walking, and I heard the sound of it cracking. It was so bad that I obviously just dropped the pails right there and then, and was not able to walk. So I didn't lose a feeling of my legs or anything, but it was so bad that pain was like so bad that I was not able to walk. And basically for the next 2 weeks I spent home, and again, obviously there is no insurance, no nothing. You don't really have much money after just few months working construction. So I was laying at home hoping that it's gonna get better just by itself, but unfortunately in my case it wasn't the case. And so everything what I can afford, it was like chiropractors. And so I went, I even didn't have a car obviously, so somebody was helping me and driving me there, and I was trying to get better. Chiropractors helped me a bit, but not completely. So basically after about a month and a half of being at home and then chiropractors, I had to decide not to come back to stucco again, because physically I was not able to. I was able to walk and everything, but lifting anything or bending down, it was very painful. And so I had to start looking for something else. And again, Russian speaking friends helped me out, and they introduced me to manufacturing plant which was doing a styrofoam. So it was a styrofoam manufacturer in Jackson, Florida. And fortunately for me, they were looking for a person to work.
After 1/2 mile, turn right.
To work at CNC machine, and which cutting the foam. And so I didn't know anything about it, but there was a lot of Russian people working at the factory, and the owners was also Russian. They were Ukrainian, but they speak Russian. And so luckily for me, they gave me this job, and I started working CNC machine. It wasn't that heavy. There was a lot of fumes, when you're cutting styrofoam with
right. US 301 northbound, Highway 200. US Highway
with the hot
301
wire. It's like there is a lot of chemicals releasing in the air. But for me, it was like really, it wasn't that bad, just because I needed a job, and I really.
US 301 northbound, Highway 200, US Highway 301 south for 3.5 miles.
I really wanted to stay in the United States, and so I kind of was, taking any opportunity which was thrown my way, and so I started working there. Now, after about 6 months or so, I start taking lessons at the local college, English lessons, so I can improve my English basically. And for about 6 months I was taking these lessons. I don't remember why I stopped, but I guess it was just hard for me to get there, because again, I didn't have a car. But it helped me at the beginning, at least, to get the basics kind of going. And then in about a year or so, there was a CAD position opening up. Somebody left the company, and it's basically it's working in AutoCAD, making programs for this CNC machine. And luckily for me, again, it just happened that I was able to get promotion because they liked how I worked, and they liked the fact that I'm actually learning English.
Left turn ahead, Highway 228, Maxville-McClany Highway.
And they offered me this position, and I gladly took it. And I started learning how to use AutoCAD. I wasn't computer inclined much, but I guess because you're younger, and when you're younger, it's basically easier for you to learn new stuff. So I kind of started learning, and successfully learned. In a few months, I were basically fluent with what I needed to do on AutoCAD. I mean, it wasn't very sophisticated. We didn't do like a 3D models or anything like that. It was 2D drawings which we were doing, and then transferring to machine code, and cutting the stuff from the styrofoam, and so on. And I've been working like this for, I would say, a few years. Then at some point of time, I started my first company while I was working at this manufacturing plant. So it was kind of a small side business. I opened a brokerage firm.
After 1/2 mile, turn left.
So that was interesting experience, opening the company without knowing the language well, without knowing how to open the company. But again, few people helped me to understand the basics, helped me to open it, register it in my name, and so on and so on. And the reason why I opened it is just an opportunity.
Turn left, Highway 228, Maxville-McClany Highway.
I basically had all my family in Russia, and it just happened at that time that it was very popular to export cars from United States to Russia by ocean in containers. And so my parents
Maxville-McClany Highway towards Lake City, 7.9 miles.
knew some people who knew that I left to United States, and they asked, well, maybe he can help to export a car for us. Well, and I didn't know anything about it, and I just, let me look into it, see if somebody doing it, and maybe they can help. So I found somebody who was doing it, and they've done it, and I asked them if they can help, and they said yes. And I asked them, well, can you give me details how you're actually doing it, just so I know. They kind of gave me some information. Obviously they don't want to let me know everything, because they knew if I'm smart enough, I can actually start doing it. Well, I was still smart enough, I guess, or dumb enough to, try it on my own. So I felt I can do that. It's not that difficult. You just have to find a car at the auction, and the way how you find it is there is a lot of Russian people who actually has access to, you know, the dealers, and they have access to car auctions, like man, you see, I already even forgot the name of it because I haven't been doing it for so long. Odesk or Mannheim, and there was another site where the after the accidents cars, very popular one, man, I forgot, but yeah. So anyway, so they have an access, and it was kind of interesting. They could give you the access to see what's on a auction, and then they would bid it for you, and then they would deliver it to the port. And in the port there was another companies who've been packaging them, also Russian companies, who've been picking them in the containers, like 2 or 3 cars in a container, or 4 sometimes if they're very creative, and it depends how bad the condition of the car, and they would export it.